Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We thought we'd do something a little bit different today, just to get to know me a little bit better. And what I wanted to show you is my day-to-day habits, my mindset hacks, tips and tricks that I implement in order to have a successful business. And what I'm going to share with you is what I do, why I do it, and how you can apply it in your life so that by the end of this video, you're able to attract abundance in your life through all areas in health, wealth and happiness, and ultimately attract anything that you want. And what I want you to do is to comment below with the top 3 takeaways that you're going to keep accountable to so that you can attract this in your life. So with all that said and done, let's get started and jump straight in. So one of the first things to realize before even getting into this is to give some context to it all. And what I mean by that is the brain is like a computer. It's programmable, it's reprogrammable. So understanding that if you make some conscious decisions and conscious choices around what you do in the first place can really have a deliberate outcome. So before you even start looking into this and before I even start the day and think about these habits, it's making a conscious choice about how I'm going to attack the day in the right way. So now that I'm being intentional, the first thing that I want to do is have some affirmations in my life. Now, I don't know what you think of when I say affirmations. I mean, I've watched some crazy stuff with these people going, I am a millionaire, doing these weird movements and things like that. I don't mean out of the, sky high, those sort of things. So number one with affirmations, if you don't know, Google them. I'm not going to deep dive into this, but I'm not trying to affirm something that is completely unrealistic. So first of all, they're in the present tense. So it's I am, not I will become. And also they are positive affirmations, not negative. So it's not I want to stop smoking. It's I don't smoke. Okay. I'm smoke free, for example. But I also want to make sure they're realistic. So I used to do this thing, like I'm a millionaire, I'm highly successful, I've got the body of my dreams, all of that, when actually maybe I was a bit stodgy and I was in significant debt. Okay, it's lying to yourself. And I think if the reality of where you're at to where you're affirming to and the gap is too big, I found that actually my brain doesn't comprehend that as something that's realistic. And so it's dispelled within 5 minutes of even saying it. So positive affirmations are one of the first things I do in my day. And I attack a few times over the day, but they are reaffirming something I strongly believe that I am close to achieving. So that's the first big thing, and it really just sets my mindset up in the right way. The next big thing I like to do is visualization. So visualization is really key. And I was reading a book recently, Psycho-Cybernetics, incredible book. It's a bit deep, but it talks about the power of visualization before actually attacking something. So obviously practice is always going to be best, but actually you can visualize practice and get around 80% of the results. So the example they were using is basketball and shooting hoops, getting the 3-pointer in. And what people do is obviously you'd have the group that were practicing and obviously their results were dramatically increased. You've got the people that did nothing before, warmed up and then just went straight into it. And then you've got the people that actually visualized the success. So they'd close their eyes, they'd visualize where they would stand on the 3-point line. They'd hold the ball, they'd sort of open it up, flick it in, and the hand movement and things like that. And they realized that by doing this practice in their mind, the visualization of it, and they were living the model through, that actually they had an 80% increase on their results compared to those people that didn't do practice and didn't visualize the success. And actually their results were closer aligned to people that had actually practiced this in the first place. The reason that's so applicable to day-to-day life as an entrepreneur and thinking about this entrepreneur growth and the growth mindset is sometimes I find that I don't want to actually make the mistakes, the costly mistakes, by practicing. I think it's a really good tool for myself sometimes to practice in my mind, practice the pitch in my mind. What objection's going to come up? What's going to be the result? What's going to be the outcome? What's it going to be like when I stand on stage? What's the response at the end of it? And often by visualizing that, the result ends up coming a lot better and a lot faster without me having the cost implications of actually making the mistakes in real life. And I have genuinely found by visualizing going through that path, I've ended up coming up against an objection in my head that I genuinely couldn't overcome. And so I needed to spend some time around that. or I've genuinely thought out a whole process of how people will react and then stopped it. And the reason I did this, and I've started doing this by the way, is I didn't used to do a lot of this. I just go, right, let's just go, let's do it. And then I'd be impacted by the result of that sudden decision, that impulsive nature. And so I'm still an impulsive person, but I try to visualize that as much as possible. Now, talking through this video, it would not be complete without going through routine. So I am a massively routinized character. And so people will tell you, my team that works with me, my partner, my friends, that I seem to be quite extreme on them. And the reason around that is the routine, and it has its pros and it has its drawbacks, for me at least, and it might be the same for you too. So a real big pro is when I'm in flow, I get up at the same time. Okay, I'm an early bird. My typical times are between 4 and 5 a.m. although since the start of the mess that the world is in, it's gone out of whack quite a lot. I get up, I down a pint of water, do my morning hygiene if you like. I go on a run, usually between 5 and 10k, depending on how I'm feeling. And then I'll get back, shower, weigh myself in the morning, and then straight in the office, ready to attack the day. And I typically have that throughout the day. So even at 2 o'clock, I know that I'm in my car driving to the gym for a weight session, because that's where my energy typically dips. I know when I'm having my coffee through the day, 2 cups of coffee, 8:30, and then around 11:30 in the morning, not at night. I know when I'm eating, and I know when I'm sort of winding down for bed. And I find that my results, and you may have heard the phrase routine equals results, just are massively expanded exponentially, and the results hit. The downside is when I'm outside of this routine, I just suddenly crash. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know left from right. And really I have to focus on having that routine. So I strongly suggest, if you don't have a routine, starting as simply as possible. And when I'm out of the routine, the first thing I do is look at sleep. So the first thing I'm trying to control is when I go to sleep. The second thing I'm trying to control is when I wake up. And then I start adding on bit by bit. It's kind of like a diet. If you're having a takeaway every night, you don't go, right, no more takeaways. I don't eat any complex carbohydrates, no more bread in my diet. In fact, I'm going keto, so there's not going to be you one step at a time. And often there was this image that I saw on Instagram this morning actually, and it was 2 ladders next to each other, and one of them, the rungs on the ladder were, you know, maybe half a foot gaps. And this person, this individual, had climbed really high, because showing that success is through these small steps and keeping to the routine of those small steps. Whereas the other person was trying to make these dramatic changes, and so each rung on the ladder was 1 meter apart and really struggling to get to the next stage. So routine equals results, and I find by taking these small measures step by step, you can attract success in your life. Okay, so now is a hypocritical moment for me, and I'm a massive hypocrite with this. And when I told Alex this is something I'm going to talk about, he immediately jumped in, sort of, really, Jamie, you talking about it? But I will, because it's not just about me, it's about the results that you can get. And this is what you accept into your life, and this is specifically around receiving compliments. As soon as you start focusing on receiving compliments, you notice how many compliments you get in a day. And you do get a lot. You know, it wouldn't shock me if the average person gets north of 10 compliments in a day. We just don't pay attention to them. And I'm actually really bad at receiving gifts and receiving compliments, because I don't know how to take them. But actually, I really do try to work on that, because if your brain can't take in a compliment, take some positivity externally from you and use that as fuel to drive you forward, how do you expect to receive 10,000, 100,000, or even millions in your bank account? And just remember, these small parts of the abundance mindset that you start to accept and then attract into your life, it's reciprocated through all areas. So I'm not doing this video from a point of perfection, but actually telling you that these small implementations in your life do have a dramatic effect. So that's something that I continuously try to work on and accept those compliments, so I can attract and accept more abundance into my life. So something I try to do at the end of every day and at the end of every week as well is do a reflection process. So in this reflection, I have one big rule in that I can write down as many positive things that happen in a day. And by the way, this can start small and get bigger and bigger. So it can be, I got up on time. I ate the diet that I was meant to. I went to the gym. I went to sleep when I was meant to, those sort of things. And I'll list these positives. And if 5 come out, that's cool. If 50 come out, that's even better. And I write down one, not negative, but one thing that I can improve on and implement the next day. Or if I'm doing an end of week, one thing that I can take away and get better on and improve on the week, the next week. So many people find that, oh my God, I've got 100 things I need to sort out. Yeah, but the problem is by trying to sort out 100 things, you end up sorting out none. And so instead, what I like to do is I focus on the positives that happen in my life. I reaffirm those and bring abundance and focus on that to attract more positivity in my life. On the flip side, I try to make sure I'm not spending too much time and too much energy on the negatives in my life. So there's something called the 5x5 rule. Okay, I didn't invent it. And basically what it means is, if it's not going to affect you in 5 years' time, don't spend more than 5 seconds thinking about it. The thing is, when people make a snide remark, a bit of a dick comment online or something like that, what tends to happen is they're keyboard warriors, and it took them all of about 5 seconds for their brain to think of what to write and type it out. And yet that 5 seconds can sometimes impact us for days, weeks, months, or even years if it really struck a chord with you. And something that I really try to focus on, and I am quite a high emotional character, is when somebody is saying something negative, it's like, cool, take it on board, reflect on it. Can I do something about it? Can I control it? Is it uncontrollable? And then I move on with my life and focus on the next positive thing. And I actively encourage you to work on that. And if you are picking your top 3, I genuinely think this should be one of them if you're starting out on this journey of abundance and having this growth mindset. So guys, if you like what I'm saying so far, you want to hear more content around this, make sure to hit the like button and of course the subscribe and the notification bell so you can be one of the first people that get to see the next video. And it really would mean a lot for me and of course the YouTube algorithm. So make sure to comment below once you've done both of those and I'll reply to every single one just to say thank you personally. Okay, so there's only 2 more and I've not really decided what one's my favorite one, but I'm going to start with anchoring. So anchoring is so important. If you don't know the outcome and you're not measuring what an outcome is, you can't improve it. If you don't measure, you can't improve. And so I really like anchoring throughout the day, something I'm really looking to take on board, something I'm really looking to implement and get a hardcore result from my day. So when I'm waking up in the morning, what by the end of the day do I need to achieve for this to count a win to a day? So I used to be obsessed with making £1 million, not just making a million in a year period, and managed to hit my first million in a year a few years back. And when I was obsessing about it, I would have on my phone 2740 24/7, 2740 2740 24/7, £2,740 a day, every day, for the year, so 365 days, that is how much you need to make on a daily basis to make $1 million. And I would look at that because ultimately that's what I was working towards. But here's the real situation. Being an entrepreneur and having this growth mindset, you're going to take punches. People talk about a bulletproof mindset. It's not true. Nobody is bulletproof, okay? I'm definitely not bulletproof myself. It's just I fall off the horse multiple times and I get back on it, and it's that speed that I get back on. And one of the things that you need to realize is it's bloody hard work for 95% of the time. Being an investor, being in property, being any kind of entrepreneur, you have to put a ridiculous amount of effort in to get those results. And by being fixed and anchored to that point reminds me, whenever I'm feeling low, I pick up my phone and I'll look at the wallpaper, 2740 24/7. This is what you're doing. This is why you're doing it. And I promise you that will keep you motivated. And if it doesn't, you're anchoring to the wrong outcome because it's not motivating you enough. Finally, I want to share the easy wins. So everyone focuses on these big outcomes. I want to make $1 million. I want to be a millionaire. What about getting your first client? What about making the first phone call? And one of the best bits of advice that I can give you is, yes, you want to eat that frog, as Brian Tracy says in his book, but also get the small wins. So I'm quite a big believer, in psychology. I love psychology. And there was this psychotherapist or psychologist, whatever it is. And he was talking about the power of winning, and it's this mice test, this common tube test in science, and it's two small mice pushing past each other trying to win. There can only be one winner, right? But what they found is that actually when the mice wins, there's a certain part of the brain that highlights and sort of bleeps up, and so when you put that mouse against another mouse, it would more than likely win the next tube test, even if the other mouse was bigger. Then they took this a step further and they thought, hold on, if we then push one mouse through, so it wins, but it doesn't actually win on its own, it still just wins, and the other mouse loses, then what happens? And even though it was forced to win by getting pushed through with a stick or whatever and wins, then it would more than likely, with 90+% certainty, win the next fight or the next game or whatever it is. And the thing is, actually, we can program ourselves to become winners and stop becoming losers. Okay, and the way that this works is by reprogramming our brain to actually win. So I really like calling it my first 5. So in the morning, once I've done these things, what's the first 5 things I'm doing where I can go, I've won? Downing the pint of water, win number 1. Making my bed, and there's loads of YouTube videos on the benefit of that, by the way. There's a Marine that does an incredible video on that. The power of making your bed. Number 2. Number 3 might be going for my run. Number 4 might be weighing myself. And then number 5 might be my affirmations, my top 5, get started, my first 5 wins. And what you find is the more you focus on getting those small wins, the more likely you can build those up quickly. And so by lunchtime, you're getting really big wins and not even thinking about the impacts. So what are going to be your top 3 takeaways? And remember, if you're trying to instill new habits, you don't have to do everything that I do through the day. Pick your top 3 and keep yourself accountable by putting them in the comments below. And just remember, by implementing this, if you think it, you can conceive it, and if you conceive it, you can believe it, and if you can believe it, you can achieve phenomenal results in your life. Guys, I really hope that's been a valuable video, and the content's been something that can dramatically impact you through your life. And I know it's a very different style of video, so let me know what you think about this style, just to sort of having a chat with you on a level. Let me know in the comments whether you like it, or of course, if you don't like it and you just want me doing the instructional videos, all feedback is welcome. So go out there, smash it, guys. Make sure you're implementing it. Let me know in the comments if you liked it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on Monday in our next video.